What do fans expect from this T20 series against Ireland? This is the first T20I, and we're going to be talking about the match which starts tomorrow. And it's going to be an interesting one because I think that we're coming off a very bad defeat against Afghanistan. And the Proteas really need some confidence and they need to score some runs now and get some wins under their belt to build their momentum because they're coming off a series that a lot of fans were very disappointed with the performance, and we were all actually sitting here and criticizing them quite a bit. So they need to get a refreshed or just have to refresh themselves and rejuvenate themselves as they get into this. They need a resuscitation over here as a team, as a group, and this is going to be an interesting series to see which players are going to step up, which players are going to be the ones that are going to put their names forward for a potential spot in the T20I 11 on a permanent basis. We know that Rob Walter has wanted to give people opportunities to show what they can do. And he wanted to give people opportunities so that they can fill certain gaps within the T20 side that still remain. So, on today's show, we are going to be talking about the first T20 and what we can expect from the series against Ireland that will be played in the UAE, in the same venue as the games that were played against Afghanistan. But before we get going, before we get started, there's a couple of things I'd like you guys to please do. First and foremost, subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos. Also, would like you guys to please smash that like button, comment, as well as share. When I ask you guys to comment, I want you guys to, of course, be live in the live chat and give me your thoughts about the team and the players and the games. But I'd also like you guys to please comment on the video after we've ended the stream because it really helps the video circulate and it really helps us get into recommended feeds on YouTube. So please go ahead and comment in the comment section after the video has ended. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. I'm looking forward to discussing this with you guys. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your preview show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where we talk about everything that has to do with the series between Ireland and South Africa. We start off with the T20s, and the games will be played in Abu Dhabi. So we hoping, of course, that South Africa would have learned from their time in Abu Dhabi. And I'm hoping that they would have had some sort of information that or learn some information from the ground. And that is something that I'm hoping for. So it's interesting to see what will happen in this at the stadium. It's at the Zayed Cricket Stadium. So it is a ground that they would somewhat, I would say, be a little bit more familiar with. Um, we've had games there before, if I'm not mistaken. So it is a ground that we should know a little bit about. And I'm hoping that South Africa will be able to do well at this ground. We can't be losing to Ireland as well as Afghanistan. It would just put the entire world in a twist. In a twist. I mean, we did play Pakistan here, and we beat them by 6 wickets in 2010 before. So that is something that is really interesting to note when it comes to this particular ground. So it's not like South Africa. I haven't been here before, and I haven't played any cricket here before. We also need to remember that we need to just keep our focus and try and play our best cricket that we can, and try and be competitive in the series. Now we're going to start off with the we going to have to start off with the squad first and foremost, and who's going to be available for this particular series. So here are the names for you. The batters are Aiden Markram, Matthew Bretsky, Riza Hendricks, Ryan Rickelton, Tristan Stubbs. So I am going to be predicting, or I'm going to be assuming that they are going to probably take the same strategy as they did into Afghanistan by playing all of their batters in every match. So I would see Aiden Markram, Matthew Bretsky, Riza Hendricks, Ryan Rickelton, and Tristan Stubbs all play in every match, because that is basically right there, your top five at least. Then they're going to have to give some all rounders opportunities. So we probably will see Vian Mulder in the mix, Patrick Kruger again, Jason Smith. I'm not sure if Andile Samalani will get a go, even though he's in the squad. Then in the spinning department, Bjorn Fortuin and Ngaba Peter. It's possible that we could get game time for Ngaba Peter in this tour. He did okay against Afghanistan. And then you've got Otniel Batman, Nandeberg, and Lungi Ngidi as well, that are there. So that's something that we also can have a look at when it comes to the squad. So I think the first thing that we could do is probably try and predict who would play. And I think this is a big series for the likes of Ryan Rickelton and Matthew Brzezinski specifically, because now there's an opportunity for them to show what they can do. It's something that they can definitely prove that they deserve to be in the squad. That is something that they need to make sure that they can do, because overall it hasn't been a very good um, time for South African cricket, I would say, in finding that next guy to step up and put up their hand consistently. And Afghanistan played Ireland on in this ground at Zayed Cricket Stadium before, and in ODIs, and they whitewashed them. So we know the competition that we are facing, and we need to be able to step up our game and to be able to prove that we are good enough to be able to win the series convincingly, because that's ultimately what we want to do. We need to win the series absolutely convincingly. That is something that needs to happen when it comes to the South African team, because that Afghanistan series was very embarrassing for the players. And I understand that it's a different ground. It's Sharjah, that we played in Sharjah for the ODIs, and now we're playing at a different ground. But we need to take into account that even though we don't have our full team, we need to play our best cricket, and that's something that needs to happen. We need to make sure that we can play our best cricket, because we can't go another series, like I said, being dominated by a team. And I don't think there's any major excuses that South Africa can have for this. They're not playing against a team that I would say personally is on the level of Afghanistan. It's not the same level. So we need to take into consideration that we should have a better squad even with our second string players playing. That is something that we need to make sure um, that we make clear by good performances. Because if we lose to Ireland in any match, I feel I don't think the fans would be very happy with it. And if we start off the series with a loss, it would be even worse. The game will start at 5:30 p.m. South African Standard Time tomorrow. So it will be a late game for South Africa. And that's something that we need to take into consideration as well, because we need to understand that we will be doing a late game review for this one after the game has been completed. So that's something we also need to make sure that we take into consideration. But we have a captain there, at least. So that's something that we can look forward to. So I think that's something that South Africa also need to make sure that that the captain has a good game, because T20s, he needs to improve, he needs to play better. Um, and it's time for him to step up and show what he can do as a player, because ultimately we can't have another series where Aiden Markram isn't performing. But before I get into the live chat, I just want to have a quick look at Aiden Markram's press conference. They did release his press conference today, so I can have a listen to it quickly with you guys, and we can see what the skipper had to say ahead of this match. So let's have a quick listen, and I'll react to it with you guys. It's nice to be able to listen to what he has to say and then comment on it with you guys live on the show. So let's get into that. What one do I like? I like. Let's see. What one do I like? I like. I like that one. Cool. Let's listen to this together.
Yeah, I think conditions are, you would think, would be relatively similar, but the 2 days of training, I do find them slightly different, but that's in terms of the pitch itself. In terms of the heat, the humidity, things like that, obviously it's been great to get out here earlier and be exposed to it, and feels a little bit more normal now, even though it's still really hot. But yeah, I think there'll be learnings we can take from that previous series. From the conditions side, there'll be a few learnings that we can take and try implement it into this following series that's to come.
Yeah, I would be worried if there wasn't any learnings from that match, because that was a terrible series. They'll at least be a lot more used to the heat that they'll be facing, because we know how hot it is over there in Abu Dhabi.
Thanks, Nathan. We'll take the next one from Khalid.
Yeah.
We can, yes.
I guess people are always going to have an opinion from the outside.
Yep, we will.
What matters to us, most importantly as a squad, is understanding where we are currently, and making sure that we fast track our learning through experiences like that, so that we can become ultimately a better team, a squad with better depth, and then start winning games for South Africa. So by all means, we're not here to accept defeats. I think I've said it in quite a few press conferences that I'm not the greatest loser, and neither are the boys in the dressing room. So we're definitely here with a mindset to win, of course, but also to just keep that slightly bigger picture in mind.
Thanks, Khalid. And you, sir?
Yeah, it is. It's a very thin one. You're right. It's still professional sport where you represent your country, and you play with that responsibility and trying to win games, of course. So the line is thin. obviously as a squad we've committed to that bigger picture and where we're trying to go. But um, like you say, hopefully you can learn and grow and still win games of cricket. So that'll be the message, of course, moving forward. And hopefully we can get that right. I mean, there are no guarantees, but every game, there's no point giving guys experience if they're not going to take the lessons and learn. I mean, I'm still learning as I'm playing currently. So you take those learnings as best you can and um, try to let it fast track you as best you can. I mean, you can ideally learn from that in the next game. You find yourself in a similar situation, you make the right decision or you get the execution right, then you'll be happy with that.
Thanks, Vanessa. We're going to go Bernard. Just 1 second.
You see, I don't think there can be too many excuses from this because at least South Africa um, have some World Cup experience when it was in Abu Dhabi in 2021. Aiden's been there. So he should understand the conditions. He should understand what what this condition's all about, what the pitch is all about, what the venue is all about. I mean, South Africa's record on this ground is pretty decent. They've won basically all their matches, um, except bar for one against Australia. Um, but they beat Bangladesh there, so they should understand the ground. It's not a ground that we shouldn't be too familiar with. That we should be. It's a ground that we should be a little bit more familiar with. So I'm hoping that they can get the learnings that they need to, but they also need to make sure that they don't lose, and that is something difficult to do because you're trying to focus on certain aspects that you want to fix and certain aspects that you want to complete and certain targets that you want to reach, but you want to be able to do those transitions and make those changes and get the learnings that you want to get as well as win games at the same time. So it is quite tricky, and I do understand that. But I don't think after the Afghanistan defeat, the way we lost those games, I think if the games were a lot closer, I don't think that fans would have been as pissed off or irritated or mad at it. It's the manner in which they lost that ODI series. I think that's also the problem.
Activate that. There we go. Bernard, let me know if you can.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Ah,
Yeah.
yes, there we go.
Good. Hi. Sorry about that. Hi, Aiden. Good evening to you. Just one question from myself. Obviously, you're coming off the back of having lost a World Cup final to India, playing Afghanistan, playing Ireland. Speaking to Ireland's coach yesterday, Henry Milan, he was talking about a new cycle for Ireland. Is that the same for yourself? Do you feel that as you face Ireland and also subsequently in a few weeks' time, you face Sri Lanka and India? Does starting a new cycle, does it make your task, obviously it's more exciting, but is it more difficult as well as skipper, do you think?
It is definitely a new cycle, yes. I wouldn't say it makes it too much more difficult. No, I think it really motivates me to try get the best out of the guys, try give as much info as I can, along with the guys that are relatively experienced as well in the coaching staff. So it's an exciting challenge that we sort of, that's at least how we see it. Um, if you if you can keep seeing things from the bigger picture point of view, it certainly helps. It doesn't make losses any easier, that's for sure. But we're positive that soon we can get back into winning ways as a team, and ultimately, if you can learn and win, that'll be the best of both worlds, I guess.
And that's exactly what I just said. Unfortunately, that's exactly what they have to do at the moment because it will be so much easier to do this process with wins under their belt and not having all the fans and the public and the media on their back.
Yeah, thanks very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll go for those next.
Aiden, obviously South Africa have got players that can do amazing things like reach the final of the T20 World Cup, but it seems like when the first choice players are not around, Like obviously you blanked twice in West Indies 3-0 and then lost to Afghanistan, albeit in a different format. What do you think about when you look at South Africa's depth? Are you happy with what's coming through, or is the step between where they're coming from and where they're going to a bit too big?
I think if you look at something like the SA20, we've seen the guys that are here now do really well at SA20, and I personally feel the standard of cricket at the SA20 is really high. So um, that helps me lean on the side that the guys do have the abilities, of course, and have shown it in a tournament like that where the standard is high. So ultimately, you want guys to be going um, to be involved in their franchises as much as they can back at home and take the knowledge and the experience with them, the standard of operating as a national team back there, and hopefully that can help grow um, franchise cricket in South Africa, of course, and the players that are coming through. So um, I wouldn't say I'm too worried about the level, only because I've seen what guys have been able to do from the franchise system into something like the SA20.
Problem though with the SA20, the problem with the SA20 though is that when you're playing in conditions like this in the UAE, where it's going to spin and it's going to be a lot slower, maybe perhaps they're not going to get that experience in the SA20 unless they're playing in Durban. So the quality with regards to that still isn't going to bridge the gap between our domestic system and our international level, because that's foreign conditions are going to be a problem. And majority of the games are played in on good wickets in the AC20. To be honest with you, and Newlands has a good ground for batting. Uh, Joburg has a good ground. Pretoria has a good ground for batting. Um, the Warriors have a good ground as well for batting as well. Generally speaking, it depends on when and what times you're playing, but generally speaking, it's a good ground for batting, etc. So the problem over there is going to be bridging those gaps that South Africa have a problem with. Facing swing, that's one, and facing spin, that's another. Particularly the new ball when it swings. Our batters seem to struggle when they make that step up from domestic cricket to international cricket because they don't get enough experience at home doing that. So yes, to an extent, the SA20 will help with maybe good regards to the level of cricket, the opponents that you're playing at, the constant pressure. Yes, but when it comes to the most important factor, which I think is the biggest hassle for South Africa, is that our newer players don't get enough game time to be able to learn from the conditions fast enough to be able to dominate teams in foreign conditions when they haven't played there before. And that's kind of the problem that South Africa is facing at the moment, is getting our players ready fast enough for foreign conditions, particularly spin and swing.
In the interest of time, we are going to start taking the last couple of questions, starting with Neil. I'm just going to activate your. There we go. Neil, you're just going to. There we go. Perfect. Please go ahead.
Hi. You said, was it yesterday or a couple of days ago, you're missing the 3 ODIs in order to prepare for the tests in Bangladesh. In days gone by, the only way to prepare for a test was playing against the red ball, I suppose. But given that you can't play a first-class game, I just wondered how you would be preparing, especially for opening.
Yeah, you make best with what you have, I guess. We'll go home, also let the mind rest for a couple of days, and then get into the red ball work. I think we have a pretty good idea of the challenges we're going to face in Bangladesh, and um, try simulate those conditions as best we can at home. Obviously, it'll never quite be the same, but um, working hard there is certainly better than just going over there and hoping that things go well. So that's the idea behind it, to work on it. Obviously, work on the bowling as well, get the loads up quite a bit, so that if there's a role for me to play there, I'm confident to do so, and I don't have to cram all the work in once we get there, because yeah, the schedule's pretty busy, and it's still important for us as a test team to have really good preparation and give ourselves shots at winning test series.
Thanks, Neil. So we will take the last two questions, that being from Alvin and then Zahir.
Yeah, like sorry, just to step in there, they're going to have to do a camp in Durban to get them ready for this series if they're going to prepare at home, of course. I would have obviously, ideally, it would be great if Coach Shukri would be able to take the guys earlier into Bangladesh and then actually have like enough, maybe a week, or I know the funds are going to be a lot to be able to do that, but a week before that series starts and then get acclimatized to the conditions, etc., which is not going to happen. So I wish that could happen. I wish we had the limitless funds that we need to be able to prepare players the best for series like that overseas.
Can you hear me okay? Yes?
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. How do you rate Ireland at the team? And how big a challenge will it be, do you think, in the series?
Yeah, it'll be a big challenge for sure. Like you've heard now, a team that's younger and maybe less experienced in conditions that are pretty foreign to us, of course. So, and obviously against a really good Irish team and with guys that are match winners and guys that have taken down any opposition that they've come across. So, big challenge for us, an exciting challenge. Again, we as a team want to get back to winning ways. I don't think any sportsman likes to lose. So I'm really fizzed up about the idea of trying to win. And also definitely the bigger picture for us as a squad at the moment, which is growing that depth of players and giving guys great experience that they can take back to where they go and keep sort of operating by those standards to become quality international players.
Well said.
Thanks, Alvin. Then lastly, just wrapping with Sophia.
Aiden, you obviously got the run the other day, which is great, but the 24 international form hasn't been that great for the last while. Just how important is it for you to get some fans under your belt in the season, and also just from a captain's point of view to the league, just to help you settle in when the captain's going well?
Yeah, I've always wanted to try be a captain that leads from the front, of course. So, and that comes through performance. Every time I go out to bat, ultimately I'm desperate to score runs for the team and win games for the team. So I don't think anything changes from there. We understand the nature of the beast, like I've said many times to you guys, and I feel like the prep's been really good. Fortunately, feel like I'm hitting the ball quite nicely. So hopefully things can go well, of course. So we'll see how it ends up going, but yeah, we'll definitely be pushing to put in some good performances for the team to help us win.
Okay, so that's that, guys. That's what Aiden Markram had to say. It's good that it was asked about his form because it's not only me that was thinking that his form is not as great at the moment in this format. At least there are others that also think so too. And it's something that we need to improve. It's something that he needs to improve, and he needs to take the pressure off some of the younger guys in the side, because that's ultimately what he needs to do. Like I said, he'll be familiar with this ground. He's played here before in the World Cup. He lost to Australia, and we beat Bangladesh. So we should know a little bit more about these conditions, about this ground, obviously from our T20 World Cup experience before. So hopefully, uh, this is a positive game for South Africa, and we're moving in the right direction, and we give the right players an opportunity. Let's get into the live chat. Taim says, you are not praising Brevis. He hits 49 and 75 against Sri Lanka in two tests with almost a run-up ball strike rate. He is the highest scorer in that match. We are trying to get an interview with him for our digital magazine. So it's not about not praising him. I think he did really well in that series, and he needs to continue that form in the domestic setup. But we are acknowledging that factor by trying to get an interview with him in our digital magazine. In presence of some very experienced SA's domestic players, please reply me this. I did that now. Roderick says this series is very important for Riza. If he fails to score runs, then he must forget about SA20. Well, I think he's already in at SA20 side, so he's going to then have to play well in SA20 as well. And we know that Coach Rob is going to be picking players based on SA20 form as well. If he has a good SA20, then that will push him closer to still being in the side. He also won T20 Player of the Year for the second year at the CSA Awards. So that's how South Africa um, see Reza Hendricks. They really rate him highly in the T20 format. Ayanda says excited to watch Rickleton get his chance in the T20I side. Me too, and I'm hoping that he gets a full series. I want to now is a proper test, and I want to see him perform. Obviously, I don't want to be sitting here and criticizing Ryan now, because that's another player then that we're going to have to, that we were hoping that's going to do well, that doesn't do well. And I hope that that's not the case, because I want to be talking good things about Ryan. I don't want to be sitting here criticizing performances, etc. I'm hoping that Ryan can come through, because we in need of an opening batter, and the fact that he keeps as well. He's a left-hander as well. He bats at a quick strike rate. He's the perfect replacement for the retired Quinton de Kock. Sam, Khalid, I would like to open with Ryan and Brzezinski. If Reza are going to open, then where Brzezinski fits into lineup, because batters are so less. Well, Brzezinski can bat at, he can open and he can bat at 3, and Aiden can bat at 4. So I don't think it's necessarily a big train smash. Any of those players, and that's what I like about the squad. These players can interchange. They can change around. They can swap around. They don't have to necessarily all bat in the same position. These guys can play bat anywhere in the top 5. All of these guys on this list over here. But I would like to see Reza Hendricks, Ryan Rickleton open the batting, because obviously Reza is the first choice guy based on what Rob wants. So I want to see Reza and Ryan open, and then Tristan could bat at 3, perhaps. Matthew Brzezinski, Aiden can bat at 4, and Matthew can bat at 5. It's a possibility too. That's also an option. Or we can have Tristan at 5, and you can have Brzezinski at 3. That can also happen. They're all interchangeable, in my opinion. So it's not a massive train smash. As long as they get game time, I'm happy. Let's move on to the next comment. Ayanda says, I think it's time let Brzezinski and Rickleton open for the side. And Sam says, how did Brzezinski going to bat in the middle? Then they are just doing a dumb thing, because Brzezinski was brilliant in SA20, and for Warriors, when he opens, he is more opener rather than a middle order batter. I agree with you. 11th for tomorrow, Sam says, Ryan, Brzezinski, Aiden, Tristan, Mulder, Smith, Kruger, Samalani, Fortuin, Otniel, and Lungi. Second 11 will be Ryan, Reza, Brzezinski, Aiden, Stubbs, Mulder, Kruger, Fortuin, Lungi, Bartman, and Peter. That's my lineup. That's the lineup I would like to see, personally. Ayanda says Rickleton, Reza, Brzezinski, Markram, Stubbs, Kruger, Mulder, Bjorn, Bartman, Gidding, Ngaba, Peter. Yep, I like that lineup. That's exactly the lineup. It's the same as Sam's second one. I like that. And that's the lineup I would like to see play, personally. And I also want to see Lazard William get more opportunities as well, because he comes into the team, then he gets dropped, and not dropped, but left out, comes into the team, left out. So I would like to see more consistency with him as well, to see maybe if he can be that guy to step up for South Africa. Sam says, Khalid, will you cover CSA T20 Challenge from tomorrow and also SA20 auction? I'll be attending the SA20 auction. If anything significant happens there, then I will be sharing that with you guys. I will also be at Newlands on Sunday for the first game of the CSA T20 Challenge between South Africa, between Western Province and Boland. So yeah, I will be trying my best to cover that as best as I can. But I will definitely be keeping an eye on that and doing a CSA T20 Challenge watch to see who steps up and performs well, and then talking about it on the shows when we can. But obviously, the main focus will be the Proteas and the Proteas women, who will be playing in a World Cup, T20 World Cup as well. So we need to also make sure that we cover that too. It's a lot to cover. It's a very hectic season coming up. EB obviously being negative again, first time Ireland series being on its way. Sam says this series Brevis should have been there. Absolutely. I don't think absolutely. T20s, I don't think absolutely. I think the CSI T20 Challenge is going to be very important for Diego Brevis. EB says Rob has special place for Riza, so we can't do anything about that. So Brevis and others must wait until Riza retires. Khalid, it is learned that some CSA management want to ban went to ban and they checked security and pitches conditions in ban for tests and seems like ban Bangladesh tour, sorry. Went to Bangladesh and they checked security and pitches conditions in Bangladesh for tests and seems like Bangladesh tour going to ahead, fingers crossed. So far so good. Khalid, but we haven't heard any official report yet. Khalid Shukri had mentioned that Lungi going to be rested for Bangladesh tour to manage workloads. Seems like Bayes Wanapul or Michal Pretorius is going to be there. That will be very interesting. I would like to see that. Khalid, in IPL, they also don't provide new players to experience to bat on pitches of SA and Australia bouncy pitches. Uh, that's true as well. This might, but they have swing. The bounce. That's why when those teams come here, they also struggle against the bounce and stuff like that. It does bother them, and we can see even experienced players struggle against quick bowlers like Gerald Kutsia and Andrik Nokia, etc. In the past, and Dale Steyn, they've all struggled against those. Monem Walker, look how so many people, so many players from Asia came down to South Africa and struggled against Monem Walker for that very reason. They don't get that same, but that's only one discipline really that they have to learn. Facing the shorter balls and facing that bounce, we have to learn two different conditions: swing as well as spin. It's two things that bother us, that we need to get over, that we need to learn quickly. And also the Australians and England, when they go to India, for example, they play 5 tests there. They don't play, or 4 tests, 5 tests, 4 tests minimum, 5 tests. We play 2 or 3 if we're lucky. So we don't get the same amount of game time and same amount of time to be able to learn from those experiences, really. PBG3 says this might be Riza's last chance. For Bangladesh series, should Rama is going to come in contention? I don't think so. Khalid is Britsky, a proper wicket keeper too. I do rate his wicket keeping skills, but he hasn't necessarily had much practice as a wicket keeper in recent times. He doesn't keep for the Warriors, so I wouldn't count him in as a direct backup, but he's a backup in a way, because we also got Tristan Stubbs there. Definitely, armor players like Linda and Armour should be considered for Bangladesh tour, not only help backup, also for batters practice against spin bowling. It helps when they play them in the nets. I don't think there's anything happening with Armour. We haven't really heard anything about that. King James says the team was arrogant and that's why we lost Afghanistan. It's all about mindset. Yet half the guys are mentally checked out and enjoying a holiday. PBG3 says George Linder is a perfect for T20. Number 7-8 can smack from ball one. Doesn't always tend to smack from ball one. We need to see what type of CSA T20 challenge George Linder has. He hasn't been in the best of form either, and he's struggled with a hell of a lot of injuries in recent time. Peklekwaya wasn't selected. Bring Bedingham and Brevis into T20 setup, says Vishal. Bedingham has to prove himself a lot more in T20s, I feel. Vishal says Similani is a genuine all-rounder. 100% is. I actually like his batting a lot more than his bowling, to be honest. She says Lazard should be given a run this T20I series, and I hope he does get some games. Sam says Issa should select more spin bowlers for Bangladesh tour because playing them in the nets will help batters, so play spin. But they'll probably get some Bangladesh net bowlers to also bowl at them, and we know that they have a lot of talent there. So we will get enough practice against spin there. All our players are: one, new players who look like a deer in the headlights; two, arrogant and thinking about their next T20 league payday; three, mentally broken by the World Cup defeat. Ibi says for those that want to play are out of form. Khalid says, what can we do so far for betterment of players to play swing ball? Well, how can they improve this? What CSA coaches can do. Khalid, why so SA not include some interesting with awards like best fielding? I don't know. I'm not on the CSA board. But with regards to swing bowling, it's tough because we need to produce swing bowlers in the country. And there aren't many grounds where the ball swings. I mean, you'll get it a little bit in PE. It's in George's Park in the first sessions in the morning. You get it at Newlands a bit in the first couple of session, in the first session or so. But in Centurion and in Johannesburg, you don't really get that. So that's something. Um, anyway, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. We will be playing tomorrow, as I said, at 5:30 South African Standard Time in Abu Dhabi, the same venue that we played Australia and Bangladesh in the T20 World Cup in 2021. So hopefully that South Africa can, or Aiden Markram can lead his troops to victory against Ireland. Ireland is a very feisty side. They're the fighters in that team. So they always try to come to the party and they always give you a difficult game. So I'm hoping that South Africa can put that Afghanistan tour behind them, or Afghanistan series behind them, and get a victory against. At least in this format, we should be doing a lot better than in the other formats. We are still trying to find our way in a way and rebuild. The T20 squad should be a lot more settled because we made it to a World Cup final. So the only way to improve on that and try and win a final is if our next in line are good enough to be able to push for spots in the first team. So this is going to be the first proper test for us, and the first proper test for the guys that are just below the Proteas caught up. Thanks a lot, everybody, for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Please subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos, smash the like button, and also comment on the video once we've ended the stream. We really need your help with regards to that. And also download the magazine. It's 100% free straight to your inbox every month. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. We are working on the next issue for you that we are trying to get to you at the beginning of this new month. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you again tomorrow with a review show directly after the day's play. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Peace out, everyone.